How do you find help with long-term business growth? Adam McDougall, the co-founder of SalesHQ, an industry-leading recruitment firm for sales specialists, was experiencing amazing growth in his business, but he wanted to go further. Knowing that he needed to improve the financial side of his business, he turned to Michael Joseph at HY Accounting. Over the past 2 years, Michael has saved Adam $62,000 in tax. In this report, we explore the difference a good accountant can make. We are joined by Adam McDougall. Hello, Adam. Welcome to the program.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for having me.
Now, I've been in business for over 24 years, and when I think of an accountant, I think of somebody I meet once a year. We go through our tax options, and that's about it. But I understanding when you changed accountants and you moved over to Michael's firm, you had an entirely different experience. Share with us what it is like to have Michael, what it's been like to have Michael as an accountant over the past 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably start with sharing my prior experience with some other accountants. So, look, I'd gone through probably 4 or 5 accountants trying to find the right fit, and look, it was quite frustrating just to basically have availability from these guys, just to be able to pick up the phone and ask a question or get advice when you need it. So I gave Michael a go, and look, that was the first thing I recognised was him and his firm were available. You know, it wasn't as if you had to book a meeting or, you know, be charged by the 30-minute time slot as often you find with accountants and lawyers. So that was really, really quite refreshing. Also, how he looked at things from a whole of business approach. It wasn't just about tax, it was about business strategy, you know, saving time, money, and becoming more efficient as a business as a whole, which was pretty refreshing from my initial interactions.
Now, my experience with accountants is, as I said, you meet them once a year, you go through all the options, and then basically you don't see them until next year. But you are looking for something different, because in most businesses, we have marketing people, we have consultants sitting in our business on a daily basis. I understand that Michael offers a different service to the average accountant. How is that? What's that service been like? How would you describe it? And how has that helped you?
Yeah, good question. So we actually catch up for quarterly business strategy meetings. So it's almost like having an accountant and a business consultant in one go. Look, largely focusing on the financials and making sure that the return on investment for certain spend is where it should be, but really looking at the overall business strategy, where you want to be in 12 months' time, and really planning ahead for it. So those strategy sessions have been valuable. But further than that, it's really kind of looking at your wealth as a whole and how to optimize not only your tax position, but your wealth position. And one of the biggest things that was advised at the end of your meeting last year was to potentially purchase a commercial property, which I thought about, but really hadn't gone much deeper into exploring. So having the assistance of Michael and his team to really go through and have the confidence for that transaction, understanding the parameters of that, really kind of helped me. And look, within 3 months of having that meeting, I'd actually put an offer on a commercial premises, which we've now moved in. And, you know, instead of paying somebody else rent, the business is now paying the trust rent, which obviously makes a lot more sense from a financial perspective, and again has really helped to safeguard the future wealth aspect I was talking about as well. So that was probably a real-time example of having a greater impact than just talking about tax.
Now, everybody in business is looking for growth strategies. How has Michael helped you in that area? Because I understand that since you've started working with him, growth has been a major benefit of using his services. Can you describe the growth that Michael has brought to the business, and why you think his approach to accounting, from your perspective, is far better than what you've experienced in the past?
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, definitely, there has been a correlation between our business growth and when we started working with Michael. So we've almost doubled in revenue in that period. But more importantly, it's being able to kind of track your profitability. Revenue is one thing, but there's no point in doing revenue unless you know your numbers and you're translating that to net profit, right? So to really kind of sit down in those meetings to look at growth from a sustainable net profit perspective has been really where he's helped me understand, where I should be kind of cutting spend or increasing spend, where there's the potential to hire more staff to increase revenue, or maybe spend more marketing dollars here instead of here. So it's just really given me the clarity and confidence to make those business decisions, which has resulted in that growth as well.
Now, your business is recruitment. You specialise in sales. You're an industry leader, but it's one thing to be a specialist in sales. You've got to understand the whole recruitment process. What was the process? What were the key things that you looked for in an accountant in comparison to what you were getting in the past? And why would you advise somebody to use Michael over the accountants that you've used in the past?
Yeah, look, as I said initially, availability, transparency, someone who owns a business and understands business and genuinely comes across like they have your best interests at heart, rather than how much money they can charge on a minute by minute basis. So the competency piece as well is obviously one. I mean, I've had accountants that have basically done the bare minimum and not really added any value. So, from a tax perspective, just making sure that we are optimized, making sure that we can pre-plan for optimization before the end of the tax year, before it's too late, is probably one of the biggest reasons that you need a decent accountant, because looking at where you're at the end of the tax year is pretty useless, because it's already happened. You can't make any changes. You can't move any levers. And so, my recommendation is, if you want to kind of be organized, be pre-planned on the tax side, but also have somebody give you direction in terms of what you need to do to increase profitability or reduce tax, or I guess invest in assets to get you in a better financial position long term. That's the service that he provides, and it's worked for me. So why wouldn't it work for somebody else?
Well, Adam, it's been exciting to hear of your success, and I know that Michael, in talking to him, enjoys working with you, and I think that's the key to having a good relationship with an accountant. It is about relation. Adam McDougall from SalesHQ, I wish you all the best, and thank you for joining us today.
No problem. Thanks a lot, Ken.